Testing. I know we're not testing. Hey. Oh man. All right.
All right. I don't got COVID. Just so y'all know. But welcome back. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Millennial Mindset Podcast.
The Millennial Mindset Podcast.
I am one of your hosts, Chauncey. And to the right of me, I don't know where he's at on y'all screen, but y'all can tell us that is my co-host.
Let me know. My name is Shun. It's a pleasure for you all to be joining us today
Yes.
for yet another episode of the Millennial Mindset Podcast, as previously stated by my co-host, Sir Chauncey Reagan.
He's right. And today, we're going to talk about an interesting little topic. Is chivalry still a thing, or is it dead? Because as of late, I've been trying to figure it out.
You've been trying to figure it out, man. What has been your thought process on this matter at hand?
I mean, I know at least with individuals like you and me, it still exists. However, on my short stint of having Twitter again after previously downloading it, I done deleted it again. But while I was on there, I was noticing that it seemed like a lot of the stuff that guys used to do that would be considered chivalrous isn't really received well anymore. And I was like, dang, I just wasn't aware, I thought that it was still working, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm just sitting here wondering, is it still a thing, or is are those days gone and we just doing whatever now?
Well, to that stance, I have to add, because for those of you who don't know what he's referring to, because I saw it as well, I need to delete Twitter. I don't get on it as often. I definitely haven't posted it. Every now and then, to find, stuff to talk about every now and then. But I saw the post that he saw. So again, for those of you who don't know, there was a post on Twitter of a guy. I think it was post date. Date.
I believe so. I think they was gonna head home.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this guy took this young lady on a date, and it's when they were leaving. At some point, because I didn't pay that much attention to it, but at some point, he had a horse and carriage to take her wherever they were going, and she was not rocking with it at all, in the slightest. She clowned this man for doing it.
Yep, take it straight to Twitter.
To that, I have to say, that is, I don't want to say extreme. It's kind of extreme, slick extreme. But with things like that, you have to really know your target, your audience. Not everybody, is into horseback riding or
carriage riding.
Yeah, I mean, that's something really outside of the realms of like typical chivalry.
Yeah.
Like, normally when you think of chivalry, well, when I think of chivalry, I just think of most things such as like holding doors open, opening the door for your woman, flowers, walking on the side of the street closest to the road, things like that. You can get by with the basic things. I don't think those are as dead. I don't think there's as much of it going on as in the past.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily that much right there is dead. But I mean, I'm not saying that the horse and carriage isn't chivalrous. I think it is. But I think, there's always certain levels to different things.
Yeah. I guess he went the grand gesture route.
Yeah, that was very grandiose.
Yeah, someone who I guess didn't necessarily want it, but even still, I feel like a lot of young ladies would still appreciate it, just because that's not something that everybody would do,
right?
And
I think they're a good bit that even if they, like you're saying, I think a good bit even if they didn't necessarily like horses or that specific thing, like you say, they would have appreciated.
Yeah,
that he tried to do something. I mean, You, I don't know how much it costs to rent one of those, but I feel like
They
that's
expensive.
I in the
I saw it.
sports
I saw it in
and
New
the
York.
carriage.
Yeah, I saw it in New York. I
God,
was like, nah, we are not finna get one of those. Yeah, yeah, we just gonna walk in this park.
oh man, but chivalry. I think we don't. I think we have to admit that it's a different era. Times
Definitely.
change. Um,
Yeah, but
yeah, be very careful in saying this. With them, when feminism was introduced, and my perspective or understanding of feminism is not what I think a lot of guys confuse it as with um what do they think? Just women doing whatever.
yeah,
Um it's more so about women having the choice because previously they didn't have any options. They really weren't able to function as their own individuals.
yeah,
So with the feminist movement, that granted women the choice to do what they wanted to do, whether they wanted to be like the standard housewife or whether they wanted to go work, get a job, get in the workforce, whatever it is. Now with that, I think what we don't admit or acknowledge anytime with any privilege or pro, there's a con.
yeah,
So to draw it back, like it's a biblical illusion. Not saying that I know the Bible like the back of my hand. It's not just for religious people, but I'm just drawing an illusion. Like this is an example. So if you know of the story of the Garden of Eden, with Adam and Eve, they were instructed not to eat the fruit.
yeah,
Well, the fruit was eaten, and there were consequences to it. So having your own free will comes with consequences. It sounds terrible, but I mean that's the truth. When you have the ability to choose, you also choose the pro that you want, but inadvertently you're also choosing the consequence that comes with that pro because everything has a consequence, whether the consequence is positive or negative, because some consequences could be positive. It's just an effect of whatever was chosen. So when they didn't have the option to do what they want, when they didn't have the free will, that came with a certain set of parameters. Like chivalry is based out of sexism. We have to admit.
yeah,
It's because men do things for women, whether we see it as they're not able to, or whether you just want to ease her load, take some burdens off her back. It stems from sexism. So it's just something that comes with
yeah,
once they decided to have that choice, there are things that they don't really get with it.
yeah. That is true. That is true.
But I mean, I think a lot of guys are still I think a lot of guys are still chivalrous. I don't think it I think it's gotten to the point where some things may be expected at this
Yeah,
point, and some guys don't really like that. A lot of guys don't like things to be expected because they feel like the woman feels entitled or any something of that nature. Or what was I gonna say? That since it's expected, it seems as if it should be a commonality, so it's not as appreciated on the other
yeah,
side. So that also take that from it as well.
yeah. I guess I can see both. I can see both sides of it. You know, I guess, I guess what I should kind of think about is I feel kind of like chivalry. The forms of chivalry are just different now because
Different times,
since all these different, this different form of woman likes different things,
right?
then they just appreciate different things. I really, honestly, I really just feel like most of this stuff just comes down to like compatibility issues. Just compatibility issues in the down to like the root of some stuff. Because I know a lot of people are raised differently, and then it's like a lot of men are raised differently, and they'll go, they meet, and one of them's expecting one set of things and is living by one set of values, and the other one's on a different set of things, on some different set of values, you know. Some
Right.
people more traditional versus some people being more progressive and kind of wanting whatever, you know. So I just I don't know. That's why I was wondering, like, is it dead or is it just kind of looks weird? Uh, And I mean, I guess using like my relationship as an example, I feel like we kind of have like a hybrid type of dynamic, whereas like I still do I still do the stuff that I was raised and told to kind of do, you know, like walk on the closest to the road, this, that, and the third. But
Right.
at the same time, it's like she doesn't necessarily expect that from me either.
Right.
And she's willing to like do this, that, and the third stuff that would seem kind of like traditional for the guy to do,
Mm-hmm.
but she's still willing to do it. So, and I mean, it's like when that's the case, it's like, is what I'm doing really chivalrous, or is it just kind of just something that I just do that's not necessarily that doesn't necessarily fall under the definition of chivalrous anymore? I don't know. I'm probably just talking right now.
No, I think you have a good point, but I think 'cause I mean we're pretty similar. Saying how we interact, deal with women. Um, so I think a lot of things that you're doing are chivalrous. You don't feel that way because that was ingrained in us when we were raised.
Yeah,
So
that is
we
true.
just see it as something normal.
That is true.
I hold the door open for everybody, like regardless of the woman I'm dealing with. I'm most likely holding, like getting her, going to her side in the car, opening her door. If I'm not doing that, I mean, I don't do that for every woman. Mainly, when I'm in a relationship, that's when I find myself doing that. But just like opening doors in general, or on the side, you know, on the side closest to the street, I'm always. It doesn't matter if I'm with, if I'm in a relationship, if just a friends with benefits type of situation, just platonic friends. Be doing it regardless.
Yeah,
So those are just things that we were raised to do. We don't see it as different just because that's in us.
well, shoot. For the ladies who view this podcast, I am curious. What would y'all define as chivalrous? Because I just don't know what it is right now.
Right,
And I mean, y'all are some of the only people that can tell us what it is right now. Because if we ask our dads, they gonna say what we been doing, you know.
right,
And I mean, times are different. Times are different, and I'm trying to see like what what do y'all view? Because I mean, y'all are the ones that we would be trying to be chivalrous too. So
right.
you know, just tell us, or tell whatever male figures are in your life. Just have that conversation with them, and just kind of tell them just see, kind of see what they view chivalry as, and then tell them what it is, at least to you, and to just from what you can kind of gather based off of how the world is going right now. Because I'm just trying to learn at this point. It's one of the reasons. There's another reason why we kind of make this podcast, to just kind of try to grow our knowledge as
Growth
far
mindset.
as just life, and the things that are happening now, and
Right,
the dynamics between men and women. Just trying to I'm trying to just grow into the individual that I believe I can become. So
true
help us
statement.
with that, because we trying to help y'all. So help us too. you know
It all falls back. All works in tandem.
mm, 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 mm.
Oh man. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think I have any more to
Mm,
add
mm.
to that. To be honest with you, I think we pretty much summed up those thoughts.
So Closing question: is chivalry dead?
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think? Man,
And would her answer that, and also, what are forms of chivalry that you acknowledge, or what are forms of chivalry that you appreciate, or what are forms of chivalry that you exercise? All that good stuff.
yeah, because if I get a carriage for my lady, I'm gonna need her to kind of appreciate that
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing right. Because money just don't go on trees. If I'm being real with you.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for that episode. Well, this episode. You want to go on right into the little dating? You
So
know,
shit, we can.
I mean, okay. So